Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming back. Nice to see you all, your smiling faces. And do we have something to chant? I guess not in the afternoon, right, Tracy? Okay. All right, so we'll just go ahead and read more songs from Milarepa. We're on page 23. Middle of the page, there is background story. Tracy, please, if you would like to read this for us.
Thus he sang. Milarepa thought, Rinpoche has only lessened his involvement with the 8 concerns somewhat, but his hidden faults have not been fully revealed. I must do this by inciting him to revulsion. When they came upon Nyanang, where there were many butchers, the master and his disciple Rinpoche went begging for alms. There were stacks of flesh, piles of animal heads, flayed skins displayed, and pools of blood collecting all around. Many sentient beings were tethered, waiting to be slaughtered there, and in the center of them was an old man, an old man from Mun with a crippled arm. A large black sheep managed to escape the man's grasp, and as it ran, the sheep's intestines were pulled through a small tear in its flesh. Terrified, the sheep let out loud screams, limping and hobbling over to the Jetson and his son for protection. As the sheep's life came to its end, the Jetson wept with many tears and performed transference for the sheep, placing its consciousness on the Bodhisattva path. Then he sang this song of realization with unbearable great compassion.
Thank you. Yeah, this is such a sad story. And when we see the description of how much suffering and fear this sheep had to go through, we need to remember all the millions of animals that are slaughtered around the world every single day. They suffer the same kind of suffering. It's just that we don't see them. And so we enjoy their flesh and meat without thinking of anything, without feeling any regret, sadness, or guilt. But if you remember that each and every one of those animals suffer the same kind of suffering, maybe not have his or her intestines pulled out like that, but still there's this tremendous amount of fear in these animals before they're slaughtered. And seeing that, Milarepa he could not bear with that kind of suffering that the sheep was going through. And so he gave rise to great compassion, so much compassion that is described as unbearable great compassion. That, there's so much emotion, so much love and compassion of sheep that it's almost unbearable. It's almost overwhelming. And that's actually the kind of compassion all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have for all of us sentient beings at all times, not just seeing us suffer, but at all times. And that's the kind of compassion we're trying to cultivate as well through our practice, because it is already within us, each and every one of us. We already have unbearable compassion for all sentient beings, but it's being temporarily obscured and covered up by our own ignorance and our self-centeredness. So we have not been able to fully allow that compassion to manifest. And so here he sings, Emma means alas here. Sentient beings of samsara, look to the path of liberation. Alas, these here with such negativity, such a shame, ignorant of karma in this human birth with leisures. How devastating is this killing of beings? So he was so sad. Twice in a row, he says, alas, alas, like, what can you do? So sad, such a shame. you have obtained such a precious human life, which is so hard to come by. Most beings are in the lower realms. It has been said that the beings in the lower realms are like stars in the sky, and beings in the higher realms are like, the moon or the sun in number, if we compare them. And so now you have been born as a human being, in the higher realm, and yet instead of doing good things to guarantee a better future life, these people are doing such shameful, cruel acts of killing, and that will guarantee terrible future lives. They're ignorant of their karma that they're creating for themselves, and they're wasting this precious human life with all the leisures and conditions and resources that are in their hands, that they can use for virtuous actions. So he says, how devastating is this killing of beings? How regrettable to have such self-delusion. And it's, like I said yesterday, we are all deluded, we are all ignorant, because we're ignorant about the nature of existence. We're ignorant about the nature of our mind, and therefore we're deluded. But some are more so, because the delusion can be removed by practicing the Dharma. And if you're already on the path of removing the delusion, removing the ignorance, then you are lucky, you're the fortunate one. But there are people who have never heard of the Dharma, who have never been given the instructions on how to remove these layers of delusion and ignorance. So they continue to be ignorant, and particularly to be ignorant of the karma, the cause and the results of karma. So they suffer from their own actions. And then Milarepa continues, how shameful indeed to kill one's parents. Because all sentient beings, as said in the teachings, have all been our parents in one lifetime or another, in countless past lifetimes. And so these animals have all been our parents in one lifetime or another. And now we end up killing them. I remember reading a story. It's not just a story, it's a true incident. There is this very realized master in Tibet whose name is Achu Rinpoche. And he has the ability to see where the deceased people have taken rebirth. And so many people went to him to ask for advice. What kind of rebirth have my father or whoever taken? And if it's a lower rebirth, such as an animal, what can I do to save them and to help them take a better rebirth? And so he has helped, thousands and thousands of people by his supercognition, his wisdom and compassion, and his knowledge in how to help these people, the deceased people, take a better rebirth. And this is a man that came to him asking, where has my father taken rebirth? And he said, your father, since his death in this previous life that you know of, has taken 7 more reincarnations, 7 more times. And you have killed all 7 of them. All 7 lifetimes that he has taken rebirth, you have killed all 7 of them. And they're all your father's reincarnations, rebirths. The man was like, that's not possible. You're lying. And the master said, well, your father took rebirth as one of the animals in your home. They domesticated animals, and you kill him. And he took rebirth again as an animal again, and you again kill him. So this got repeated 7 times. And the man started crying. So it's like that. We have killed our parents countless lifetimes. And so how sad, how shameful is that? What to do with all this pooling of blood, he said. Eating meat, however hungry one may be. Such confused perception, thinking anything. Such negativity without any compassion. Delusive ignorance thus obscured everything. What can be done with such cultivation of negativity? And I think he was crying while he was saying this. He could not stop his tears. And so these words, are said with such emotion, I'm sure. Giving torment however they please. Such wickedness of those who act this way. How shameful. Oh, such sadness and headache. He was probably almost wailing at this point, seeing how people behave, just shamelessly and heartlessly killing animals. So busy with negativity in all that they do. Later, they won't remember a single moment. They don't remember because they didn't think anything of it. Killing is just a way of life or just something they do. And it really makes one sad to think that, we have a lot of compassion for maybe dogs and cats, the beloved pets that we have. And if they're mistreated, of course, everybody will be angry. But the cows and sheep and, other animals that humans consume, we don't have much compassion for them. They're raised to be eaten. They're raised to be killed. So we don't feel much, actually, most people. And when it comes to seafood, that's even worse. Hundreds of them can be eaten in one single meal. I was taken to the ocean the other day, and there was like a place where the crabs were gathered, and they would cook the crabs live, and people would come to eat crabs because they were cooked live and very fresh and delicious. And there was a terrible energy there when I went there. And I was just thinking how many crabs were crying and yelling when they were cooked alive in that very spot, that very place. Thousands a day, perhaps, and millions a year in that place. Beings were killed. So, and people feel nothing. They don't have any feeling for those crabs. So here's, Milarepa says, they won't even remember a single moment of the suffering of all these beings that they have killed. And then he says, when I see such people, I fear for them because they, of course, they will suffer the consequences of killing, which is very serious, could lead them to the lower realms and suffer tremendous sufferings for long periods of time and cannot get out. And he sings, I think of those with such negative conduct and I'm disturbed. Rechomba, doesn't it make you think of the sublime Dharma? When you think of this, how ignorant and heartless human beings can be, don't you want to just practice the Dharma so that you can eventually and gradually develop the ability to save them, to liberate them from such ignorance? If it does, then give rise to sadness and disillusionment. If you meditate, go to mountain retreats. So if you're sad about this, if you can't bear seeing this and even thinking of this, just like Milarepa, and you're disillusioned by all that's happening in this world, then go meditate. Go to the mountain retreats and meditate. If you contemplate the Guru's kindness. It is the Guru's kindness and Guru's teachings that can really liberate us, that can really liberate many sentient beings. So think about their kindness. If you escape something, escape from the root of non-virtue. So what's the root of non-virtue? Do you know? What's the root? Why do people do unvirtuous things? What's the root of all that? Yes, Susie is answering. Yeah, it's the grasping, the self-grasping, self-centeredness, grasping onto a truly existent self and wanting to nourish and cherish and, hold on to that self. And so all sorts of negative things, non-virtuous things can happen from there. If you let go of something, let go of mundane deeds. And of course, ordinary people, that's the last thing they want to let go, They want more of it. They want to own more, to do more mundane things. That'll make them feel important, feel successful, and secure. But we need to go the other way. We need to go the opposite direction. We need to let go of all these mundane deeds. If you keep something, keep your promise to practice, rather than keeping all the mundane possessions. If you understand, then bring your life to the Dharma. So I hope, if nothing else, if all the previous songs didn't hit your heart, didn't make a difference, didn't strike you, and didn't penetrate your mind and heart, and make you feel like you really need to, now you need to, use your time to practice. I hope this song does the trick, because of the thought of that sheep, how much suffering that is, and how heartless people can be, and how you cannot bear this, and you have to do something about it. And that something is, you have to do your practice so you can develop the ability to enlighten yourself and enlighten people, so they understand their own wrongdoing. So they understand their misconception about the entire existence. Okay, did we sing the previous part of the song? No, I don't think so.
No, just so.
Okay, let's sing from page 22 all the way down to where we just left off, down to 25. Lame nam ta sem na cha song xiao da du zi jian du me que long yue la xie la ga wa xue que rang yue la se la bon la la cha na chi ma du cha ge la ga na pa che 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 long yue la sha na len ba yin rang chi wei ji na gong na gong le de ba jie na nian zhou dong se miao su tu na ra nila rasam ngena sunam se lena me jona guna gong que sambo gyende nangwa chu se shenpo sa de jeren tam nianpo de na la kan do lo che ge bon la bon Chugo londe tadan che komambo kode lo kye che Tsonga bo so de lo da mang lo che dan de ne bon la gong Kom nu na sem la do ba cha ma nu ka she cham de sha yu rin bo gong no ma che be yin me gong la zhen ba gi Lo che dan je na ka yang de rang je bo de ba ji gyang cha gom sa dong ge sam de jen bo che pu re chong ge sem la ne ba shong Continue. Ema kowe semje nam tabe lam la ya de dang azama de che ne re che de re mo me de ge yon wa la Sherepan semchen ge sarula kyere che rango golola chure cha pa me che lola de da che de she lola Jire che chage mando la che zam dong sha ye sa lu la kan ne sam na we chu la ba de re che ning je me lu la Che zang zhi mong pe de mo la che re che de be so nam la so yi che de be dong lo la ka ge che yu lu ge gen ba la Chure ta gyo we ke lo la ji ra je de je ge de lo la che ma ge je me je be me de ja dong na nga re je De je nam chen xin nam wa chu re chong ba ta che che zhen wang chen na gyo she ge ne long dang Om na je ge ne zo she. Sam na la me ga je zo. Je na de je za ne je. Do na je de ge cha wa dong. Tsena jobe tam jia song. Shena me se che la yo. Thus he sang, then disillusionment and renunciation rose deep within Richomba, and he wept with many tears. Lama, now I will do as the Guru says and will abandon the 8 concerns and the provisions of food obtained through negativity. I will meditate. I think this time, Milarepa really succeeded in, penetrating renunciation in Rechomba's mind. And I hope that he did to you too. Next song is Jashize. Tracy, please.
When the Jetsun was at Lodro in Drin, there was a benefactor named Tashitsek who offered his service to the Jetsun. At that time, there were many benefactors receiving Dharma teachings. They requested, please give us more Dharma advice that is appropriate for our understanding. The Jetsun replied, if you will listen, I have many excellent methods to share. Will you listen? We will most certainly listen. Please tell us, they said. Well then, since this will be beneficial for you in both this life and the next, it would be excellent if you did this. Then he sang this song of realization.
Thank you. Well then, male and female benefactors, he says, if you want to cultivate the ultimate crop, and you will listen to what I say, and here's what I'm going to tell you. Every being will surely die. This reminds me of what His Holiness Dalai Lama said as an opening remark when he was giving a talk at the invitation of KTD Monastery in Woodstock, and he had a public talk in Woodstock town. And the place he was giving the talk is an open field next to a cemetery. So he began his speech by saying, this is where every one of you will end up, And so it's like this, you will surely die. But if you want to cultivate the ultimate crop, then listen to what I have to say. It says, therefore, it's excellent to practice genuine Dhamma. There's nothing else that can really give you the most meaningful, the most excellent fruit other than practicing the Dharma. There are other things you can do. The fruit may be, temporarily. The fruit may be sweet, but it will be temporarily. It'll, when you use up the result of your hard work, and it's gone, you're back to square one. Whereas if you practice Dharma, the fruit will keep growing and become bigger and sweeter and better. It will never disappear. That's the difference. Though you gather illusory wealth, it will slip away. You work very hard to obtain wealth, but eventually either you die and you have to leave it behind you, or somebody will enjoy it instead of you. or you might lose it someday if your business fails. But if you work on your own mind, you work on the methods that will bring you freedom from suffering and liberation from samsara, that work will never, ever be wasted, no matter what. And nobody can take it from you. And when you die, your hard work will go with you. It will never be left behind when you die. That's the difference. Therefore, it's excellent to practice generosity, he says. Because what's the use of wealth if you can't take with you when you die? Give it away while you can. At least you can gather some accumulation of merit by your generosity. And you can use that merit. And you can use it for many lifetimes to come if you don't destroy it with your negative actions. It'll stay with you. Though your deep love for worldly relatives, they will part from you. No matter how much you love your relatives, one day you're all going to say goodbye. It's either you saying goodbye to them or they saying goodbye to you. In any case, there is no party that doesn't end. And so, what to do? When you die, is there something you can leave for them that they can really continue to use and benefit? Is it money? Maybe for, yes, for one lifetime, they will benefit from the wealth you leave them. But after that, when they die, that money will not be used. They cannot be used by them anymore. And when they take another life, a new life, your money will be no good for them. It's useless. So if you truly love them, what can you leave them? He's saying, therefore, it's excellent to meditate on non-duality. This non-duality refers to there can be many aspects to this, the non-duality of emptiness and luminosity, which is the mind, the non-duality of appearance and emptiness, because all appearances in their own nature are emptiness, is emptiness. And you can say non-duality of emptiness and bliss as well, because even though bliss is the nature of the mind, but the bliss itself, own nature is also emptiness. So there's many aspects of non-duality that we can talk about. So meditate on on non-duality. Though you build illusory castles from earth, they will collapse. I think castles is just an example. Of course, we don't actually build castles nowadays, but whatever we build, whether it be a house or wealth or any other articles or possessions, whatever we build, we accumulate, we gather, everything will eventually come to nothing. Therefore, it's excellent to keep to solitary places. So all these things, they don't last. They will eventually collapse. Any worldly things, they will collapse either before you die or when you die or after you die, but nothing lasts. The only thing that is everlasting is what you have done to bring your mind to its own natural place. That will always last. In order to do that, it's best to go to a solitary place. Though you have food and drink for your body, it will all be used up. Therefore, it's excellent to accumulate merit. Now, the merit we accumulate through our generosity, through our virtuous actions, through our practices, and all these things that are positive, they can be stored and be, carried with us. You can carry your merit with you when you die to your next life and the life after and all future lifetimes. And the merit will continue to grow and become greater and greater as you continue lifetime after lifetime to engage in virtuous practices, in the practices of the Dharma. But merit can also be destroyed by regret. Like if you have done something good and then later you regret to have done something good, such as in the case of, you're friends with somebody and you help them a lot, and later something happened between you and you're no longer friends, and then you regret all the help you've done to the friend, all the kindness you've given to the friend, and you regret that. Well, that will destroy the merit and virtue that you have done. So don't regret good things they've done, even though you may not like the person anymore, but don't regret the kindness you've done to them and all the good things you've done. Otherwise, you destroy the merit that you've accumulated. And the other thing that could destroy merit is anger. A fit of anger is like fire burning the entire forest. Sparkles of fire can burn the entire forest. So it's like that. If you have done something good and later, because maybe, for example, you've made donation to a center or a monastery or whatever, and you expect them to be respectful and kind to you, but instead, they said, you've given us so little, not enough, or something like that, or they're not very kind to you, they don't treat you very well, don't give you a gift or something, and you become angry. Well, that anger will destroy all the merit you have accumulated through your generosity. So, in short, don't regret anything good you've done for any reason. So here he says, it's excellent to accumulate merit because you need merit. The Buddhahood is achieved through the completion of the two accumulations. These are the accumulation of merit and the accumulation of wisdom. So you need both of them. And in order to complete the accumulation of wisdom, you need to accumulate merit. Without merit, wisdom is very difficult to arise. So that is why I often suggest to people, don't just meditate all day. You need to also do good things. Doing good things doesn't mean you have to go out and, do social work and help people out. And that's all good. Yes, that's good. If you have a job that's to help people, that's of course the best and excellent, such as doctors and nurses and things like that. But if you can't actually go out and help people, then just doing it mentally is actually excellent. Mentally you make offerings to all Buddhas. Mentally you try to cultivate kindness to everyone and compassion to everyone. That's merit. So that's also a way of accumulating merit. And that kind of merit is difficult to be destroyed because you actually only use your mind to accumulate. You're not giving anything substantially, in terms of material things. So it's harder to destroy by your anger because, nobody knows what you're thinking in your mind. So nobody will be good or bad to you. And so then there'll be no reaction to deal with. So it's safer that way. So always in your mind, whenever there is an opportunity, use that opportunity to make offerings. For example, if you go to a beautiful place, or if you look at beautiful skies, things like that, and you think, I offer this to all the Buddhas, or I offer this to all sentient beings. And in that way, you are already accumulating vast amounts of merit. And that's why, every time in the beginning of each meal, we always make offerings to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, because even even though the food is, maybe not the best food, and it's maybe not a huge amount of food, but we imagine the food to be a vast, huge amount of the best food that there is, including, the Amrita and the good food from celestial beings, and filling the space, and we offer that to all Buddhists. In that way, even just eating food can help us, giving a lot of merit. And so back to what I was talking about, some people just meditate all day, but it's important to also accumulate merit by these acts of either visualization or acts of kindness and things like that. That will actually help us to go into better and deeper meditation. It sounds like the two are not related. Accumulation of merit is accumulation of merit. And then, accumulation of wisdom through meditation is just meditation. What does it have to do with merit? But interestingly enough, they are very, very closely related. So the more merit you have, the easier it is for you to develop wisdom and insight. So we need to work on both of these aspects. So therefore, it's excellent to accumulate merit. And then he thinks there is no end to conditioned activities. You can do all sorts of things. There's no end to it. The more you do, the more you need to do, or the more you want to do. So there's no end. Therefore, it's excellent to abandon activity. Now you just have to say, stop. I need to stop. Foolish speech will never be exhausted. That that we all have lots of experience. Like, just gossiping and, just trying to carry on a conversation for conversation's sake, or even speeches that lead to hatred and jealousy and pride, negative kind of speech. These are all foolish speech. Therefore, it's excellent to go without talking. Now, that's something we don't think about very often, but we need to think about it. Because we talk all day long, pretty much. We meet people, we have to talk, and like I'm talking now, all day long. But a lot of times we're not aware that even speech alone can be the cause of negative karma. In fact, the negative karma that can be created by body, speech, and mind, 4 of them are from speech, only 3 from body, and only 3 from the mind. There are 4 kinds of speech that are negative. So it's better not to talk too much. I often find that if I kind of let myself loose and start talking and with friends, kind of aimlessly, just to have fun talking, I often regret it later. I would surely say something that's rubbish or stupid or bad. So I myself try to be mindful about this. Anyway, it's better to go without talking, and we need to remember that. If we don't need to talk, better just keep quiet. The key instructions alone are like rubbing oil on skin. Therefore, it's excellent to follow a learned guru. I'm not quite sure what it means by rubbing oil on skin, what that has to do with key instructions. I guess dry skin needs oil or something.
A relief.
A
relief.
A relief. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I know it because if I don't put oil on my face in the morning, the whole day I feel very uncomfortable. It's true. So it's like that, so the guru's instructions is like oil on the skin. it makes you comfortable. It is something that you need to follow. The instructions are teachings you need to follow and do. Don't just listen and forget about them. Experience is like the moon shining upon darkness. Therefore, it's excellent to meditate like a flowing river. Some people can have experiences from their practice very easily. Others don't. And it doesn't really matter, because what matters is your own effort. Whether there is, some sort of result very quickly or nothing happens and you just keep pushing on, it doesn't matter. It's all equal. What matters is your own effort. If there's an effort, that effort will never be wasted and will never disappear and become, nothing. It will always be there to be the cause of your eventual enlightenment. So don't despair if there's no experience from your meditation. On the other hand, if you develop experience in meditation, you need to be extremely careful, because all people, when there is some sort of either blissful experience or other types of experience in meditation or in their practice, they are very fixated. I've heard many people very fixated on the experiences. They want to have it again. They want to keep having it. And if somehow it doesn't come again, they get disappointed or even distressed. Like, what happened? Did I just do something wrong? Why isn't it occurring again? Very fixated. And that's what you want to watch out. You don't want to be like that. Whatever experience you might have in your practice, just let it go. Just like everything else, just like all the mundane things that you need to let go, the same you should apply with your practice. Whatever happens in your practice, whether it's good or bad, just let it be and let it go. When it happens, it happens. When it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. That's fine. When it's bad, it's already gone. It's okay. When it's good, it's already, an experience that's already passed. That's okay. Don't hope for it to come again, and don't hope for it to stay. That's very important, because fixation is the problem. And we all know that, but we keep doing it. We keep fixating. We think fixating on experience is a good thing, because you want your meditation and your practice to go well. So you want it to improve. So we should fixate on it so that it'll stay. But actually, it's the contrary. If you fixate on it, it'll go bad. So it's contrary to your wish. So just let it go. Don't fixate on it, and it'll naturally be better. Then lastly, he sings, these excellent 10 basic key points arose in this Rebbe yogi's mind. Men and women of Jin, this is your Dharma lot. Thus he sang, all the men and women benefactors there took refuge, aroused bodhicitta, dedicated, and made aspirations. All of them developed a Dharma outlook. Many among them became meditators, and some developed good experiences. That is the power and blessing of Milarepa. He just sang a song, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, yes, let me take refuge from you. I want to, benefit all beings. And some of them already, very, very soon afterwards, develop good experiences. And that shows, if you practice and if you gain realization, you have same power as Milarepa. You can help people just like that. Instantaneously, they're inspired, and they can also develop experiences and realizations very fast because of your blessing. So that's why we keep saying, and he keeps saying, and because he knows, he came he went from being an ordinary person who killed 37 people to now look at him. He can save so many people's misery from their miseries. He can enlighten them. What a difference, day and night. And he knows it's all because of his diligent practice, his practices in seclusion, in solitude. That's why he's so desperately telling everyone, go do it, do what I did, and you'll be happy. You won't regret it, Okay, so I think that concludes all the songs of renunciation. The next two songs are dedication and aspiration. And since this is just included here so that we could chant it as a dedication and aspiration, I'm not going to go through these last two songs in detail because it's not relevant to our topic this time. Yes, question? Can you sing this song? Yes, I forgot. Thank you for the reminder. Yes, let's sing the song. I forget to sing songs all the time. Okay, let's go back to 26 and sing this last song of renunciation. Na yun da bu mo nan kye den ge se nam ze go na ming a yi ka la nian ba na kye ba tam jie nge ba chi Te chi tam chi ze na le kyu me no ze sa gyang lu Te chi jen ba dang na le jik de nian du sa gyang zhang Te che ni me gom na le kyu me sa ka ze gyang ji Te che wen ba de na le kam ge sa dong ze gyang ze Te che zo zo ze na le tu che le la sin ba me Te che cha wa dang na le te me dang na se ba me Te we ma wa che na le dam na ba ba nung gu ja na ma ge ba de na le nyam nyong mun ba da sha ja chu wen gyun shin gong na le Nghe ba thân ghi đô đơn chu Nan chu re be lo la sha Trên ba po mơ che ga ze Okay, we have lots of time left. Do you have questions? Any questions? No? Everything's clear? If no questions, we can end early. Yeah, I see a raised hand there.
Lama Lodro, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. And I think everybody's gotten a real feeling of really getting to know Milarepa in a new way and a deeper way. So thank you so much. And my question is about Milarepa's teacher. And of course, Milarepa recommends mountain retreats and isolation and not to be caught up and fixated on family and such, as we've been talking about. But his guru, Marpa, was on the other side of that and was wealthy and had family and children and responsibilities. So maybe you could say a few words about how that works out.
Yes, that's true. Marpa is a different kind of display of a bodhisattva. And I think his manifestation is a mere manifestation. Well, that's the conduct of a bodhisattva. They're different from ordinary beings. When ordinary beings have a family, they have a family, and they have to work very hard to support the family and take care of everyone, making sure they're comfortable. Whereas Marpa, of course, I'm sure he does his best to take care of his family, but his mind is not fixated and attached to his family. That's the main difference. He's already beyond the mundane attachment when he has a family. And so he can still be, his mind can still be immersed in the Dharma while having a family. And he can still be, I don't know if he needs to practice because he was already enlightened. So I don't know if he still needs to spend time practicing all day long. It's a different story, I think, He merely manifests as a householder, but he was already enlightened. So it's just his display of how he lived his life. It doesn't necessarily mean that his household life is taking away his practice and he couldn't practice well, and so maybe he could not be as enlightened or accomplished as Milarepa. That was not the case, as we know. When Marpa died, he died in rainbow body. He did not have any body left. Just his whole body just dissolved into light. And all his 8 or 9 wives also dissolved into rainbow body and dissolved into him. So what do you say to that?
Thank you so much.
Any other? That was a good question, though. Good observation. So, we cannot compare a bodhisattva with the ordinary people. That's completely different. And we still see this, like his own psychiatrists, and they're all married, have children. But we can't say, well, therefore they're not really good practitioners because they're not living a life of a yogi, so maybe they're not as enlightened as, say, another great master who is living in a retreat. We cannot compare because they're already enlightened, Any other questions? Yes, Linda.
Yes. Thank you, Lodro Lama, so much for your teachings today. I'm really feeling inspired. So I've been trying to search to find places online where the songs are actually chanted, because they're very beautiful. And when you chant them, it gives sort of a different kind of feeling inside as opposed to just reading them. So I wondered if you have any suggestions. I found a few, but why aren't they recorded? That's my question.
Yeah, I don't know either. And there's maybe just because there are too many songs, and no one actually that I know of has compiled a list of all the songs that have to do with a certain topic from out of his many songs, and then sing them or compose a melody for them. So that at least I'm not aware of any such existence. So maybe that's why you couldn't find anything. But you can just, you have the recording of the 2 songs, right, that we played yesterday, the first night, and you can use either one as a melody to sing all the rest of the songs.
Yeah, I'll try.
Which is what I've been doing. just the second melody is what I've been using.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi. Okay. Vajra Vidya Portland.
Could you talk about vegetarianism in the tradition, and if you think it's important for practitioners to be vegetarian? What do the teachers of our lineage say about that currently and historically?
Historically, there has not been any emphasis on vegetarianism because, being in Tibet, they could not be vegetarians very well. There were the climate in Tibet is so severe. This vegetation is very scarce. So they had to rely on animal meat, butter, milk. That's all they eat. But nowadays, because of imports from the main part of China, there's a lot more vegetables available. So a lot of them can be and have become vegetarians. And His Holiness Dalai Lama has emphasized vegetarianism, and so did His Holiness Karmapa. And in fact, years ago, His Holiness Karmapa made the quote unquote decree, that all Gamagaji monasteries must serve only vegetarian meals. Meat cannot be served inside the monastery. So that was the rule he made. Yeah. If you want to eat meat, you have to go outside of the monastery. And when he made that announcement, I still remember, it was, I think, during a Gagyu or something like that. And he said, actually, this has been a very difficult decision for me because I love meat, grew up eating meat, but I have to do this, he said. Yeah. And it's not just for humane reasons, for the animal, the poor animals. It's also for the environment as we know it, because the animals consume so much of the feed that it takes a lot of fields, a lot of plants to feed those animals. If we all just eat the plants, the whole world would be, everybody in the world can be well fed. And the animals produce, of course, a lot of, what's that called? Methane. Yeah, it's very, very bad for the environment. Yeah, so yeah, definitely encourage everyone to be vegetarian. Really good for yourself, good for your health, good for the environment, good for all the poor animals. Yeah. Yes, Linda.
Hi, I have another question. So when throughout some of the songs, you referred to, our practice, and that there's different ways of practicing and different methods. And, meditation being one, or even when you are drinking that cup of tea, that
Yes.
there's a moment of practice there.
Mm-hmm.
And I wondered if you have any thoughts on actual yoga practices, or in particular Tibetan yoga practice, if that is practiced at the monastery or any of the other locations, because I'm quite curious about that myself, because I do feel in my own personal yoga practice that has sort of become a very almost feels like a refuge. Or in a way to allow me to do a better sitting practice. So I'm just curious about your thoughts.
Right. As far as I know, there is no so-called, what we understand, the kind of yoga that we understand, those so-called yoga in Tibetan Buddhism. where you move your body this way and that way and coordinated with breathing. That's what you call it, yoga. But there is in a high Vajrayana practice is what's called the true core. True core. Sometimes we call it yoga, but it's not the same as Hindu or any other kind of yoga, because the techniques are very different. Maybe there are similarities, I don't know, but I think at least the purpose is extremely different. It's not for health, definitely not, and it's really for uh, well, simply put, I don't want to go too specifically to go into too much detail about this, but it's for spiritual growth. It has nothing to do with physical health or healing or anything like that, although it will help. So if you're looking for Tibetan Buddhist yoga, I think you would need to go into a 3-year retreat. You'll be taught how to do that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I have a lot of family obligations right now. I don't know if I can do that, but it sounds great.
Yeah, but it's very, very vigorous. It's not gentle at all. So
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, any other? Yeah, I see. Chris,
Kirsten, hi.
Tristan, yes.
Hi, thank you again for these teachings are very inspiring. I'm wondering, my understanding is you chose this topic, the renunciation, and chose specific songs. How are some of the other songs? What are some of the other themes? And do you recommend us exploring some of these other themes? And that make
Yes,
it
definitely. These songs, I don't know how they are organized initially. They jump from one topic to another. There's no certain sequence or certain grouping of certain, theme or topic. So I had to go kind of at least glance through, quickly go through the entire book in order to pick the songs that are relevant to the topic, of renunciation. And there are maybe I have noticed that there are several songs that relate to view, meditation, and conduct, because many of the students asked him about this. And then there are other topics that have to do with joy, because he was, like repeatedly stated in my teachings, he was constantly in a state of great bliss, great joy. So he would express them in his songs. So there are many songs that talk about how blissful he was, things like that. And I have taught Milarepa songs of joy in the past. Yeah.
that would be fun too.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what to say. If you want to read about certain topic, there's no way you can find them. It doesn't tell you what the song is about until you read it. Any others? Yeah, Donna?
Thank you so much, Lama Lodro. What a wonderful weekend we've had. I have a question about a concept called pointing out instructions.
Mhm.
I've read some places, in Turgar particularly, where it's required to move through certain avenues of teaching. You have to have what's called pointing out instructions, which is a directly from a enlightened person. So I don't hear about that in the Kagyu so much, and I'm wondering if you could comment on that for us.
Well, Terka is Kagyu, it's Karma Kagyu. And I have translated for Mingyu Rinpoche more than once, and I've translated for his Path of Liberations level 2. Is it what you call it, level 2? Where attendance is in person only because he gives pointing out instruction and he doesn't want to give it online. So I've actually 2 years ago, I think it was probably last year. Can't remember. I think it was last year. I translated for him in Phoenix on this, it was level 2 pointing out instruction. And it was not one-to-one, of course, it was like more than 100 students there, and he did the pointing out instruction. And it was, of course, very powerful, and everyone felt something. But I think I haven't attended all of his different levels of teachings, but my understandings from what I've heard and translated and listened to his teachings, in almost every level of his teachings, he will point out your mind's nature. He will do that in almost every class. It's just that sometimes in a kind of a disguised way, so you don't even know it. He's very skillful that way. And sometimes he won't even say anything, and and he will just steer your mind in that direction. So something like that. So yeah, I think if you have taken his classes, I would say you have probably already received pointing out instruction from him. Maybe you just don't know it. Yeah. But it's not just him. I was talking with Susie the other day. Chan Rinpoche has a book, Khenpo Kangsha's teach on Khenpo Kangsha's instructions, and those instructions are all pointing out instructions, full of them, really. And if you read them with an open heart, you are practically receiving pointing out instructions. The only difference is if it's spoken to you by a teacher directly, it has his blessings, and so it's easier for you to get it. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Which book from Trungpa Rinpoche did you mention?
Khenpo Kangsha,
Yeah. Oh,
G-A-N-G-S-H-A-R. Kangsha.
yes.
Yeah, in fact, Vajra Vidya in Creston, they have a picture of Khenpo Kangsha on the shrine wall. If you've been there, yeah.
I think we've studied that book.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think we're probably ready to sing the last song, which we haven't sung or looked at before. And this is an aspiration prayer by Milarepa. And I think what I will do is we'll have Tracy read it in English, and we can all read along. This is the chapter on aspiration, Milarepa's aspiration, page 30. This is from Milarepa's biography, not from his 100,000 songs. So Tracy, would you please first read the story, and then we'll read the song in English together.
Milarepa's aspiration. Before passing into the realm of Abhirati, Milarepa said to the people who gathered around him, I am grateful for your faith in me and for the necessities with which you have kept me supplied. I have shown my thankfulness by wishing you well, and to benefit you, I have taught the Dharma to you. A mutual bond has been established between us. Now, since I am a yogi who has realized the truth, it is my duty to make good wishes for peace and happiness, both temporal and spiritual, for the present time and for all eternity. Then the Jetson sang the following aspiration.
Thank you. And then now let's read, led by Tracy, this aspiration song in English first.
Father who has fulfilled his aspirations, protector of beings, Martha the translator, I bow down at your feet. All my disciples who have gathered here, listen to me. You have been kind to me. I have also been kind to you. Teacher and students have been kind to each other. May we meet in the realm of Avirati. May all the donors here live long and possess merit. May perverted thoughts not arise in your minds. May all your wishes concordant with Dharma be accomplished. May this land be auspicious. May there be no sickness and war. May there be rich harvests, increased yields of grains, and joy. May all engage in Dharma. May all who have seen my face and heard me speak, all who recollect my history, hear my name or story, meet me in the realm of Abhirati. May those who emulate the example of my life and engage in meditation, those who transcribe, narrate, or listen to my history, those who read, venerate, and make offerings, or conduct themselves in the manner of my example, meet me in the realm of Abhirati. In the future, may those who are able to meditate because of the austerities I went through be free from all impediment and error. The ones who endure hardship for the sake of Dharma will have boundless merit. Someone who encourages others to do so is boundlessly kind. To those who hear the story of my life, there is boundless blessing. By the blessing of these three boundlessnesses, may the mere hearing of my history bring liberation, and may the mere recollecting bring accomplishment. May the places and rooms I have stayed and everything I have possessed bring peace and happiness wherever they may be. Just like earth, water, fire, air, and space pervade all, may I pervade all. May Devas, Nagas, the 8 classes of spirits, local deities, and spirits not bring harm for even an instant. May their wishes in accord with the Dharma be fulfilled. May living creatures, insects, and so forth, not a single one of them fall into samsara. May I lead them all to liberation.
If you're talking, you're on mute, Lama Lodro.
Thanks for the reminder. Yes, so in this aspiration, Milarepa makes the aspiration that may all who hear his story, even just hear his name and narrate it or transcribe it, or in any way makes a connection with him, may all of them be liberated. So may we all be liberated through this connection with Milarepa this weekend. And with that, let's sing the song of aspiration. I'm going to play the audio recording, and the song is a abbreviated version of what we just read. This is page 33, a short version. The melody again was composed by the 17th Karmapa for the Milarepa play in 2009 that was staged at the end of the Gajramanam that year. At the end, there will be a chanting of supplication to Milarepa. So let's also chant that along with the recording. So I'm going to play this now. Yeah. Okay, I think with that, we will conclude this weekend's teaching. And it's been very auspicious to have studied and read and sung some of these very beautiful songs and inspiring songs of Milarepa. And it's my pleasure and honor to have shared them with you. And I hope that you will take Milarepa's advice to heart and truly, think about renunciation, impermanence, and death, and using them to inspire you to live a much more meaningful life in the Dharma. And if you can, pray to Milarepa. His blessings are unimaginable, and there's tremendous blessing, as he says in the last song, the aspiration. He will be there to bless us and guide us, just as if he was alive, if we pledge to him. So I hope we can all use his life example as an inspiration for our practice. Okay, thank you, and may all be auspicious. Salamangalam. Thank you.
Lodro, many thanks for coming and showing us the full meaning and power of these very penetrating songs, and bringing it through your example as a long-time retreatant, and all the knowledge and wisdom that comes through that. Please come and teach us again in the future. Many thanks.
Thank you. I'm very, very grateful for Vajra Vidya for inviting me to come. And it's really been a pleasure. And I do look forward to seeing you and sharing the Dharma with you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Lama Lodro.
You.
Come back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First, get out. First, you have to get out of here. Safe travels.
Safe travels.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you.
We'll come see you in KTD.
Okay, Susie and Jan
Yep.
wanted to say goodbye. Because of
We're gone now.
I'm gonna bye. Okay,
Bye. Thank you.
bye.
Okay, goodbye. Thank you.